Zote is from Pharloom. The main point I've seen brought up regarding this theory is that Zote's sword Life Ender is made out of shellwood, which is a common resource found in Pharloom. But you can also find shellwood in Hollownest, so it's hard to say whether shellwood's a unique resource to either of these kingdoms. In this video, I'll be providing some more points of evidence that help bolster this theory. The first point I'd like to bring up is the biology of Zote. I believe there are three key components to Zote's biology, being his mask, his cloak, and his body. Zote's eyes almost perfectly match the eyes of many of the Underworks bugs, though their eyes look very reminiscent of ibex, so they could just be in reference to that. When we're discussing masks in this context, we should probably bring up the fact that all the vessels have very different horns, so it's more likely that it matters if the creature has horns and less what those horns look like. Now, there is actually a dead pilgrim that's mask lines up pretty well with the vessels, but the color also lines up really well with Zote's. And since we know vessels can have horns like what Zote has, this creature could very well be part of a species that also has horns similar to Zote's. Now, when it comes to Zote's cloak, it matches up pretty well with the vessel-looking creature's cloak, because they're both gray, but these could very well just be clothing, so most of this is unimportant. Zote's body is completely black, and this matches up with a lot of the creatures found in Pharloom. Some of them even have masks akin to Zote's, with a fully black body underneath. This next section will cover the lore implications of why we can no longer find Zote's species in Pharloom. The Weavers have led many of Pharloom's creatures to extinction or near extinction, best shown by the Green Prince and his lover, as they are the last of their species. We also know that the Weavers aren't particularly fond of Zote, as he can be found hung up in deep nests in Hollow Knight. So the Weavers very well could have led Zote's species to extinction. This final section will detail counterpoints to this theory and counterpoints to those counterpoints. The biggest of these counterpoints is the existence of Elderbug, as he looks very similar to Zote with the horns and mouth, and even the mask color. But I believe he is also from Pharloom, but a related species to Zote's species that migrated to Hallownest long before Zote ever arrived in Hallownest, as Dirtmouth, Elderbug's residing location, is very close to the edge of Hallownest. So his species very well could have easily migrated into Dirtmouth from Pharloom. The next counterpoint, Precept 42, spend your geo when you have. This would imply that there is geo in Pharloom, as Zote comes from Pharloom, but we see no evidence of that, so he must be from a different kingdom, right? Well, not exactly, as Precept 2, never let them laugh at you, says, fools laugh at everything, even at their superiors. This matches up pretty well with the fools in the Colosseum of Fools, as they laugh at Zote, and Zote believes himself to be their superior. This would imply that Precept 2 through 57 were all conceived after the events that unfolded at the Colosseum. Conclusion, I believe that Zote comes from Pharloom, as his biology seems to be very similar to some of the bugs in Pharloom, and it provides a good answer to the question of where Zote came from.